Welcome to Whiskey Mountains. I'm Adriana. Today we are hiking along the Wasatch Front and we are going to be drinking Elijah Craig Small Batch. Now this is just the regular offering of Elijah Craig, I guess by the Heaven Hill Distillery. So this is the 94 proof. It normally runs about 25 bucks or so. So it's kind of a nice budget bourbon. And it's, I think, kind of overlooked in the bourbon world just because there's a lot of attention on the Elijah Craig barrel proof offerings. They are so good. Better wait for the wind. There we go. They're so good that it's easy to look over the regular, but honestly this regular's won plenty of blind flights for me when compared to proofs similar to it. Used to, woo! Ah! Stupid wind! This is what happens when you climb a mountain. It actually used to be 12-year age stated, but they removed that age statement. I think the popularity of it increased, and so they didn't have enough of that just sitting around to sell at that price. So that age statement is gone. So the mash bill on this, you know, I like to always mention the mash bill. It's 78% corn, 12% malted barley, and 10% rye. So this is definitely a little bit lower on the rye than say like Knob Creek or Wild Turkey. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it in a glass and we'll try it out. So I've poured it into the glass and I've hidden a little bit more into these rocks. I was sitting there and now I'm just kind of sitting in this little weird, that looks scarier than it is. That's actually not, well, it's a little bit scary, but it's not that bad. So we have it in the glass now. I'm gonna cover it. Oh, I should get one of those little bunghole things. A ridiculous name. But I should get one of those because they have like a gasket so that they like, I don't have to hold it on. That'd be good. Oh well, anyways. So I guess it shouldn't be surprising considering the mash bill, but the first thing I'm getting on this is corn. So this is just fresh poured into the glass and I'm definitely getting corn. But then I get the vanilla. I feel like vanilla is the main flavor aside from corn that I get. Because of this wind, I'm really having to stick my nose in it. I do get some oak. So vanilla, oak, and corn is really what I'm getting on the nose here. Now the wind has gone down. That is pretty nice. This always does well for me. I like it. Like I said, it's 94 proof, so it doesn't drink particularly hot. But it's not overly sweet. I feel like the oak really comes through, which is nice. So you get, it's actually kind of what you expect from the nose. A lot of bourbons are very different than what you expect on the nose. But with this one, I feel like you get a decent amount of oak and vanilla. But in a nice balance, just that oak is giving it that little bit of spice. I get maybe just a hint of cherry. Not a lot of fruity. So it's funny, on the barrel proofs, I feel like I get a lot of cherry, and obviously it's a much higher proof, so the flavors are going to be more intense, but I just think that that's much more predominant of a note as opposed to vanilla or oak, whereas this just has the vaguest hint of cherry, but I feel like oak and vanilla are much more the main things I'm getting. Maybe a little bit of baking spice too, but not really a lot. Yeah, I feel like any kind of baking spice that I'm getting, sometimes it's actually kind of confusing to tell the difference between baking spice and oak. I feel like is, you know, it just gives it that spice and edge in a way. So that's honestly something I'm working on differentiating, the difference in the types of spice that I'm getting. But it's nice. It has pretty decent mouthfeel, not a long finish, but actually not that bad considering. Ooh, actually just, you know what I get? I get a little bit of chocolate. So I'm gonna let it air out. I've probably taken a few too many sips already. I'm gonna let it air out for a bit, and not very long. It's 94 proof and it's pretty windy here. I'm on top of the world! Like, this is crazy. Oh, I went up over like 2,500 feet in elevation today. Now I gotta go back down. I'm tired. Today's trail talk is that it was steep. Okay, finally made it past the icy and slippery parts, so I can record some on my way back down. But I'll say this is probably not my favorite hike. Forgot the name of it. I'll put it down here. Not because it's so steep, like it is quite steep, but it's so steep and not worth the view. It's just that it's all views of the valley, which really isn't my thing. You still get a lot of road noise on this hike and everything too, so all in all, not a total winner, but they can't all be winners. Some are gonna be worse than others, so still great to get outside. All right, let's see how the Elijah Craig aired out. I think I just scared some other hikers because they didn't see me down in this rock crevice. Well, the whiskey is aired out some now, so let's go back and try it again. I can't really remember if the small batch changes much as it airs out, so. Ooh. On the nose actually has changed a bit. I'm getting more caramel now. That's the main difference. I'm basically getting more caramel and I'm not really getting that corn, so, but I still get that bit of vanilla and oak. But before I honestly wasn't getting any caramel, so. I don't like how it aired out that much on the palate. It feels like a lot of the sweetness, a lot of the flavor has gone. It's also getting cold though. Honestly, that's probably not fair. Completely unfair. Cold whiskey is not going to be that good. So, trying to warm it back up a little bit. Ooh, that actually worked. That was cool. That worked. Got it back up to a little bit warmer of a temperature and the sweetness came back, so that's good. So yeah, I'd say the chocolate's gone away and it's become a little more caramel and definitely more leather, like the spice has gone over into the leather direction. And so kind of this earthier spice. So yeah, I really recommend this. I think it's a great, you know, sort of just bourbon standard to have around. So it's an easy sipper. It's a good, you know, start to a night or whatever. I love it as a control bourbon if I'm going to be having ECBP later. But 20 to 25 bucks, I think. It's 25 bucks where I'm at. You got yourself a good bourbon. So that this is a winner. I tend to look it over. I tend to just go and pour my Knob Creek. But every time I do pour Elijah Craig, I'm like, why don't I pour this more often? This one's pretty good. So, and I think it's even better inside. It's not as good of an outdoor bourbon as some of the others I've had. Thanks for joining me today on Whiskey Mountains. Salud. Over here, Dum Dum. This fucking wind. Ah, Jesus. Sweet Jesus. Okay. The rock pulled out a hair. Ow. Dear Gimbal, figure it out. Did air out, but I forgot to keep it warm. Yeah, it's kind of cold. Sorry, little guy. Killing me smalls. This wind, it's so cold.